Welcome to Kunzy Podcast English, a place not just for inspiring stories, but for a quiet call to transformation, a call for those who are dissatisfied with their current life and yearn to change, disciplined, persistent, and in silence. Today, I invite you on a special journey, the journey of the 1% mindset. This isn't a speech to hype you up, nor is it hollow motivation. This is a whisper, but the kind of whisper that shakes your soul. Do you dare to disappear in silence for 6 months so that you'll never have to explain yourself again? There are moments in life when you wake up and realize you're living a life you didn't choose, a job that no longer excites you, a meaningless cycle you can't seem to escape, shallow relationships. You're tired of forced smiles, of pretending, of small talk that leads nowhere. And then you ask yourself, was I born just to live like this? But if you listen closely, a voice inside you will answer, no, you weren't born to be average. The very moment you start questioning your life is the moment you stand at the edge of transformation. Not the kind of change that the masses pursue, noisy, impatient, quick to give up, but the transformation of the 1%, those who choose the lonely road, the disciplined path, the silent journey to becoming their best self. They don't need to prove anything. They simply disappear, and when they return, they let the results speak. You'll notice they stop posting on social media. No need to boast, no need to complain. You'll see them decline pointless hangouts, walk away from draining relationships. They wake up early. They train, they study, they stay consistent, they say nothing, but every action they take is building a new version of themselves. No rush, no noise, just quiet, steady power. They know that to live an extraordinary life, they must endure the pain others refuse to face. They know no one is coming to save them, so they choose to save themselves. No whining, no excuses, no need for sympathy. They go silent, but their silence is the loudest roar. The 1% mindset is not for everyone. It's not for those who quit easily, who chase comfort, who settle for mediocrity. It's for you. If you're brave enough to disappear, to train, to endure solitude and doubt, so that when you return, you rise as a true warrior. You won't need to say a word. Your presence will speak volumes. If you're tired of a life that no longer moves you, if you're desperate to live fully, fiercely, and freely, then stay tuned. Because in the next part, I'll show you how these silent warriors operate, step by step, turning darkness into the foundation of their rebirth. No glitter, no noise, just raw truth and radical transformation. No one ever told you this, but in order to truly change, to completely transform, you need to disappear. Not forever, just long enough to step away from all the noise. Social media, meaningless conversations, toxic relationships, the old environments that drain your energy. 6 months. 6 months of silence. 6 months for you to rebuild yourself from zero. Sounds simple, but how many people actually dare to do it? Most people are afraid of being forgotten, afraid of losing connection, of being left behind, of not being noticed. They post every day just to be seen. They reply to every message, even when they don't want to. They say yes to every hangout, fearing they'll be labeled as weird if they refuse. But those small, repeated actions are slowly eroding their dreams, their values, and the person they once hoped to become. Have you ever felt like you're living a life that doesn't belong to you? You go to work without passion. You smile while feeling empty inside. You're surrounded by people, but not truly understood by anyone. And every night you lie awake, staring at the ceiling, asking yourself, is this all life has to offer? If you've ever asked that question, maybe It's time for you to disappear, not to run away, but to be reborn. Imagine 6 months of doing just one thing, rebuilding yourself. You wake up an hour earlier every day to train. You read, learn new skills, eat clean, meditate, journal, reflect. No one knows what you're doing. No one sees your battle with loneliness, your withdrawal from dopamine addiction, your discomfort with change. But you keep going, quietly, silently. No applause, no recognition. And in that silence, you begin to transform. The world outside keeps spinning, loud, chaotic, filled with fake success stories. But not you. You live in the shadows. You live with silence, the place 99% of people are afraid of. But in that silence, a stronger, deeper, more grounded version of you is being forged, little by little. 6 months, enough to change the entire direction of your life. You start to see clearly what really matters. You learn to say no to anything that no longer serves your purpose. You accept being misunderstood because you no longer need validation. You embrace solitude because in solitude, you find strength. And then one day, you step into the light. But you are no longer the same. You don't need to announce your return. You don't need to explain your journey. People see it in the way you walk, the tone of your voice, the way you see life. There's an energy radiating from you of someone who's walked through fire, found light in darkness, and returned with a burning heart. They'll ask, "What did you do in the last 6 months?" And you'll smile and say, "I was silent, rebuilding myself." You see, the world doesn't need to know what you're doing in the dark. But one day, the light you shine will speak for you. This isn't a fairy tale. This is a choice, a hard one, but powerful. A choice few dare to make, but those who do never look back. If you feel lost, if you feel stuck, if you want to do something crazy yet right, give yourself 6 months. No social media, no toxic people, no compromise with your old self, just you, your will, and the road ahead. 6 months from now, you won't recognize the person you are today. 6 months from now, you'll be living proof of the 1% mindset. There is a funny truth. Nowadays, society is not short of people who talk about what they will do, but there are very few who actually do what they say. People can spend hours sharing their goals, broadcasting their plans on social media, discussing dreams with friends, but when it comes to action, they procrastinate, hesitate, and in the end, nothing changes. They live in a loop of words and drown in their own delay. In an era where everyone can speak out, where everything is shared publicly, from breakfast photos to empty motivational quotes, silence becomes a special kind of strength. A truly determined person doesn't need to announce to the whole world that they are changing. They don't need to boast that they are starting a new journey. They just quietly start doing, and that makes them different. They are the one, the minority who achieve greatness. They don't talk about waking up early tomorrow. They wake up early, starting today. They don't brag about their weight loss plan. They have been quietly training every day for 3 months. They don't post stories saying, "I need to focus on learning English," but have already cut off social media long ago to study in silence. And then one day, when they step into the light, people look at them in surprise. "Wow, how did you change so fast?" But the truth is, they have changed little by little, hour by hour, day by day, while others only talk. Speaking about goals is not wrong. It can motivate and create commitment, but without action, those words only make you illusioned that you are progressing, when in fact you are stuck. Let your results speak for you. Let your body, Your eyes, your confidence, and your energy reflect the change you have gone through. Instead of begging others to recognize you through posts or inspirational videos, those who carry the 1% mindset don't need to perform to be noticed. They let results lead the way. Because they know words can create a fleeting echo, but actions create a lasting echo. Because actions demand a price. They require sacrifice of comfort, refusal of short-term pleasures, and facing the fear of failure. While words are free, you can say anything, anytime, without facing consequences. That's why doers are always the minority. The 1%, those who don't need anyone to cheer them on, don't need anyone to see their effort, still keep fighting. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait for others to join. They start alone and finish alone. Many mistakenly think silence means retreat or giving up. But for those in the 1%, silence is a strategy. It's how they protect their energy, avoid distractions from comments or judgments. They understand that the only truth isn't in words, it's in the final results. They don't argue when doubted. They don't explain when underestimated. They don't speak up when misunderstood. Because they know, once successful, all words become unnecessary. You want to learn English? Put down your phone and start studying 15 minutes a day. Don't wait for the perfect class. Don't wait for a great teacher. Don't share your plan every day on social media only to do nothing. You want to change yourself? Start with the smallest step. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Drink water, read books, exercise. No need to shout, "I'm changing." No need to post new life loading stories. Change truly silently. 6 months later, when you speak fluently a new language, have a fitter body, clearer mindset, you don't need to introduce yourself anymore. You were the proof. That's when you choose to do first, to talk later. Choose action instead of boasting. Choose persistence instead of impulsiveness. And especially choose silence instead of needing early recognition. Because you understand, true success doesn't come from how much you say, but from how long you have acted without anyone knowing. If you are tired of your own words, if you are fed up with the feeling that plans remain just plans, maybe it's time for you to live by the 1% mindset. Stop talking, start doing. Then one day, when you step on life's stage, you won't need to say anything. People will automatically listen to you because your life has become an inspiring speech itself. Silence is the most powerful weapon you can possess on the journey of self-transformation. You don't need to share the reasons for your path, nor explain your choices or changes to anyone. In today's world, where everyone talks and posts constantly on social media, silence becomes a distinctive strength, a mystery that makes others curious and respect you. Mystery is not deception or hiding. It's how you protect your energy, focus, and yourself from the noise, judgments, and sometimes envy and pointless rivalry from outside. When you are silent, you're not distracted by noise or influenced by comments or social pressure. You keep a clear mind, ready to absorb and grow. Those with the 1% mindset understand they don't need recognition from others because the most valuable recognition must come from within themselves. They focus on building their own value, not to be acknowledged by others, but to be proud of what they have done and achieved. Silence helps them avoid being swept away by comparison or the need to prove themselves. Instead, they focus on continuous growth, steadfast in their chosen goals. Sometimes others only see the final result without knowing the months of silent endurance, training, and fighting you've gone through. That's why silence is a powerful weapon, a silent strength that only the truly determined can wield. Instead of showing off, you choose to let your results speak, so your life and actions tell the story of your transformation. Don't seek recognition through praise or likes on social media, but find recognition within yourself, in the progress each day, in every steady step you take on your path. When you recognize yourself, you no longer need others' approval. That's when you are truly free, truly strong. You can walk in silence, quietly working, quietly changing, so that one day, standing on the peak of success, you will know that this silence was the greatest weapon helping you overcome every challenge. The world outside may be noisy and chaotic with endless chatter, conflicting opinions, and nonstop voices. But the most successful people, those who make big things happen in their lives, share one trait. They know how to listen to themselves in silence, how to keep their spirit steady, not being pulled by meaningless noise. When you choose silence, you create a private space for yourself where you can think deeply, orient clearly, and renew your energy to move forward. Silence does not mean giving up. It means choosing a different strategy, a strategy of patience and perseverance. You don't have to shout to be heard. Just act steadily, step by step, and let the results speak for you. When those results are big and clear enough, no one can deny the change and the inner strength in you. People with the 1% mindset don't chase attention or compete in superficial displays of showing off or self-expression. They know that sustainable change doesn't come from empty words, but from real actions and quiet daily habits. They choose to walk the less traveled path, the path of focus and self-discipline in solitude, not disturbed by external distractions. That's why they rarely boast about the process or flaunt achievements, but focus on real results. When you become a silent warrior, you don't need to explain or prove anything to anyone because you already understand your inner power clearly. That power is meaningful silence, relentless perseverance, and unbreakable spirit before adversity. What's special is that in that silence, you are not as lonely as you think. You are deeply connected to yourself, building a solid foundation to step into the future. When you are not distracted by comments or judgments, you can clearly recognize your true value and the right direction for your life. Silence also helps you avoid toxic relationships and invisible pressures society often places on us. You keep your purity, focus, and a resilient spirit to overcome every challenge ahead. So if you feel tired of the noise, lost in the crowd, and crave real change, try stepping into silence. Temporarily leave the outside voices, set aside the desire for others' recognition, and start listening to your inner voice. In that silence, you will find the true strength to be reborn and move forward. That is the 1% mindset. The mindset of those who dare to be different, dare to silently change, and dare to become the best version of themselves. Self-discipline. Self-upgrading. This is the journey of silent warriors in the darkness, where no one sees the effort, hears the sighs, or feels every drop of sweat falling. There is no applause, no cheers in the dead of night, only you and the loneliness on the path of persistent self-transformation. This is the spirit of the 1% mindset, the mindset of a determined, resilient minority who are willing to face every challenge without recognition or praise. Imagine someone standing before a towering wall with no light shining, no help around. Every step upward is a battle with oneself, with fear, with short-term temptations. That person cannot give up because inside their heart burns a big enough reason, a persistent flame that keeps them from stepping back. Self-discipline is the ability to keep that flame alive despite storms and distractions. It is the inner strength of the 1%. Those who not only dare to dream, but also dare to act and steadfastly follow through their goals. In today's world, where everyone tries to show off and talk more than act, we easily get caught in chaos and distractions. But those with the 1% mindset choose a different path, one of silence, of quiet but powerful actions. They do not flaunt achievements or boast plans because they understand that words no longer hold value compared to results. Others may doubt or criticize, but they keep moving forward, silently, resiliently, and relentlessly improving themselves. They know true change does not come from words, but from small daily actions performed persistently in silence. Self-discipline is not easy because it requires overcoming one's limits, beating laziness and temporary comfort to pursue long-term goals. It means rejecting short-term pleasures, bad habits, and enduring loneliness in the process of self-improvement. You might have no companion, no one to share the hardships with, but it is in those moments that you create the biggest difference. When others are asleep in stagnation, you are awakening to build your future. When others stop, you keep walking, step by step, determined and steady. The self-upgrading in the 1% mindset is not only about learning knowledge or improving skills, but also about mental and spiritual development. You learn to control your emotions, build a positive attitude, and remain steadfast in your thoughts. You master focus, eliminate negative influences, and cultivate patience to wait for results. Every day is an opportunity to be better. Every challenge is a valuable lesson helping you grow. Even unseen by others, you silently become the best version of yourself. The journey of the 1% mindset is not always smooth. You will feel tired, discouraged, even doubt yourself. But remember, those difficulties measure your growth and determination. When you don't quit halfway, when you overcome seemingly impossible trials, you get closer to success. The 1% are not afraid of failure. They see it as an essential part of learning and growth. Every fall makes you stronger, wiser, and ready for the next challenge. An important part of the 1% mindset is not needing external recognition. They understand that others' approval or judgment does not define their worth. Instead of seeking applause or attention, they focus on perfecting themselves and working tirelessly toward their goals. Silence becomes a powerful weapon, helping them maintain focus and avoid unnecessary distractions. When you learn to harness silence, you realize true power comes from within, independent of any external factor. Applying the 1% mindset, you not only change yourself, but inspire those around you. People start seeing you differently, not because of what you say, but because of what you have done. Achievements and progress will speak for you, earning respect. You become a model of perseverance, discipline, and relentless silent effort. This helps you succeed not only in your career, but also become more confident, resilient, and happier in life. Self-discipline and self-upgrading in the dark is a long, challenging journey, but the only path to truly transform your life. It is the difference between those who forever remain dreamers and those who turn dreams into reality. The 1% mindset is not for the majority. It is for those who dare to step out of their comfort zone, endure hardship, and persist to the end. If you hear this and feel you want to be part of the 1%, start today. Don't wait for others. Don't blame circumstances. Be silent and act, because you are the only one who can change your life. Remember, light never comes from outside noise, but from the persistent flame burning within you. And only the 1% mindset helps you ignite that flame to become a true winner in your life. Disappearing for 6 months, temporarily stepping away from everything, social media, negative friends, old environments, to rebuild yourself from scratch, learning, training, healing. This silence is not emptiness, but a powerful transformation. When you choose to disappear, you choose to create space for growth, away from distractions and judgments. You give yourself time to reflect, to strengthen your mind and body, and to heal old wounds that have held you back. Imagine being a silent warrior, facing your battles alone, without applause or recognition. In the darkness, no one cheers you on, but you keep going because your reason is stronger than any external validation. This journey is about relentless discipline and inner growth, a mindset that only 1% of people possess. The world may not see you now, but when you return, you will be unrecognizable, stronger, wiser, and more determined. This period of silence is a secret weapon. It's not about giving up or hiding, but about preparing to emerge with a force no one expected. You are rewriting your story quietly, building a foundation that will support your success for years to come. This transformation is both mysterious and powerful, making you unpredictable and, therefore, unstoppable. In a noisy world where everyone talks but few act, choosing silence and action is revolutionary. Your results will speak louder than any words. By disappearing, you are not lost. You are becoming a new version of yourself, a version that the world will have to reckon with. This is the essence of the 1% mindset: disciplined, silent, and fiercely determined to succeed. Are you ready to embark on this journey, to vanish and come back stronger, surprising everyone with the power you've silently built? This is the strength of silence, the power of the quiet warriors, the true 1% mindset. Only when you embrace this power can you step out of the shadows with a brilliant light, mastering your life and creating an unforgettable legacy. The 1% mindset: live as if you don't need attention. Just strive to become irreplaceable. In today's world, everyone craves attention. Everyone wants to stand out, be praised, and be recognized. Social media is flooded with boastful images, proud words, and repeated success stories. But amid all this noise, there is a quiet truth. A truth understood and practiced by only 1% of people. The mindset of those who don't need the world's attention but become irreplaceable in their lives and work. Have you ever wondered? Why do only a few people achieve extraordinary things? Why are there those who seem to disappear from the spotlight for a time, only to come back stronger, more confident, and unstoppable? The answer lies in the 1% mindset, the mindset of the minority, the mindset of silent warriors who don't need to be loud but possess immense power and perseverance. Live as if you don't need attention. The first thing you need to understand about the 1% mindset is to live as if you don't need attention. This sounds paradoxical in a world obsessed with being noticed, but it is the greatest secret to lasting success. The 1% don't chase external validation. They don't try to prove themselves through words, social media posts, or flashy performances. Instead, they focus on working, training, learning, and growing silently. This silence is not a weak stillness, but a powerful quiet. It is the time to recharge, heal wounds, and build a strong foundation for the future. When you learn to be independent of others' eyes, you become truly free. Free to do what you want, free to grow, and free to become your best self without being swayed by judgment or praise. Step into the darkness, fall, and stand up on your own. The 1% mindset is also the mindset of those willing to enter the darkness. They know the path to success is not always lined with roses. In fact, it's often full of loneliness, failures, and falls witnessed by no one. But what makes the biggest difference is the ability to stand up after every fall. You might feel lost when no one knows your true story behind your success. You might feel exhausted without applause or praise. But it is in this silence and solitude that you find real strength. The strength to turn failure into lessons, to persist on the long road ahead, and to keep moving forward no matter what. That is what 99% of others cannot do. They want attention and immediate recognition, and when they don't get it, they give up easily. But the remaining 1%, those with the 1% mindset, know success doesn't come from noise, but from steady, silent perseverance. You might think you need to be loud to be noticed, to prove yourself through words. But in reality, noise is often a distraction, a mask hiding weakness and lack of perseverance. The biggest lesson the 1% mindset teaches us is true success is an inner journey, a change of mindset, attitude, and action. Look back at truly successful people worldwide, from entrepreneurs like Elon Musk and Warren Buffett to legendary athletes like Michael Jordan. They share one thing: self-discipline. They work tirelessly, know when to keep silent, and know how to rise each time they fall. They do not let external validation define their self-worth. You can do it too. No matter where you are now, you can choose the path of silent warriors. Start by temporarily stepping away from distractions, social media, negative friends, unsupportive environments. Create space for yourself. Dedicate time to learn, train, and heal your soul's wounds. Remember, great changes usually start from small, silent steps. If you are ready to change, start right now. Learn to live as if you don't need attention, but always strive to become irreplaceable. Choose silence to work and act more than you speak. Accept failure and stand up, because it is the only way to move forward and grow. Remember, this journey isn't easy and not for everyone, but if you choose this path, you will never regret it. You will become one of the 1%, those who have the power to change their lives and leave an indelible mark on this world. Follow and accompany Kunzy Podcast English, the place where inspiration flows and stories, strategies help you develop the 1% mindset. If you find this content helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to never miss powerful motivational content ahead. Together, we will turn silence into strength, persistence into victory, and ourselves into irreplaceable versions.